Welcome to the channel. This is Reliable Rudy. Just with how the day ended, we held multiple positions into the close, and we're gonna go live with how, not being live at the moment, we're gonna keep an eye on Carvana at the open. We're gonna get our eyes on Intel off the open. We're looking for some sort of trim. We talked about trying to get 33 halves. Just wasn't able to get that. Well, now we're getting a gap up. We're going to see if we can get top end of the channel. Maybe not today, but little trim at the open and hold a piece for a higher move up to the top end of the channel. That's what we're looking for. I'm going to get everything set up here, and we'll get this underway. Before we go into any analysis, any trading, we got 4 minutes till open. You guys know I'm not a licensed financial advisor. Just sharing my opinion and trying to give you guys some entertainment. Nobody's perfect. I'm not perfect. If you're blindly just following without your own technical analysis. So the title is a few names from yesterday. Carvana, we are going to probably take a piece off right at the open. And if this, since we have a lot of time in the day, I don't really have time to break down to anybody new where the entry is, but we're about 20 halves is our average, give or take. So all we're looking for is that we had increasing green volume right here, and we're looking for this to be some sort of descending channel with a trend line hold at some levels. And why are they levels? Not just because of the EMAs, but you have your previous wick highs over here. So you're already wicking into it, showing some buying pressure. You have more wicks over here, and then just a base of support that it was able to push on increased volume and then decreasing volume. Now for a bull flag continuation, we just run this all the ways to the left over there. It's 2210. You could maybe see a little bit of resistance in right here as you have these previous lows, which is kind of what I'm seeing over in these wicks. So 22.5 to 22.10, we just want to see a price get over that and start holding as support. So you see 22s is what we're getting right now. And I would say probably this up to 23 is what we're looking to get more outs on. We held about 42% into the close of the entire position, but we had one reload, and we just barely missed a reload on this candle, I believe it was. Nope, it was this candle. It got to a low of 20.38. We were on the bid at 36, which is the body of this candle right there, give or take. So it can't always be perfect. It would have been lovely to get that fill. Would have been a lot more entertaining for the run to the upside. But we are going to be ready to take a few, trim a couple positions down right off the open. The FVRR trade, really bullish close and actually getting a gap up to there. So we're actually going to take a piece of that off market. And I'm just going to get the order to trigger right at the open. I see 50 lots on 40. So that's, you know, we have some resistance right built over here that we're going to try and respect. And this should be an open. So one of the things I just like to do, I'm just going to update this until we get a top gainer. And we open up at 34s, 13 lots on 25s. And we're going to take that piece off right there. G-sit gives us a trigger right off the open. So this was the alert that I was kind of looking at. Now the chart's cleared up, but I know that there's a trend line like that, and I know there's some sort of trend line like this. All we did, we put an alert over top of this. Now, let's put another alert over top of that high at 50s. I really don't want that one to really go against us too much. Let's go take a look at Carvana and see where we're sitting. So, could have had a piece off the open, but I think it's possible that a lot of time left in this candle. And we probably G-sit crossing 750. CVNA. We're going to go on the ask at 2205. So we're on the ask at 2205 on Carvana. Let's go back over the G-sit. Oh my gosh. Fellas. Could have just market ordered in right off the rip. It's a good thing I have a small piece. Man, that's tough. It's not even really worth trimming. This really could be setting up for a breakout. It already tried breaking out right here. It tried again. Holds the trend line. We can get over like 825. That's going to be pretty bullish. FVRR. Let's see if we need to take any more off of this. So got that trim right off the open. That's exactly what we want to see. Beautiful. Intel, this is the other one. We wanted the trim right off the open. We were talking about 33 halves. We wanted to get 33 halves. Let's see if we can get some sort of hold of support right there. We wanted 33 halves, and we're sitting at 33 60s. But with the gap up, I'm just not too inclined to sell any at the moment. CVNA, let's go see if we got a fill there. It doesn't look like we got a fill. We're going to take this channel off. I think this uptrend is a really good look. We're looking for some fills. 2205 is what we're going to start with. And already leaving a wick into this high. We just want to see this hold as support. A lot of time left. So I'm just going to clear my whole drawing. This is the trend line that I hold meaning for. Here's the bodies. Here's the wicks. This is our main focus right now, is what I would say. We want to see a price hold 22, and we're on the ask at 2205s. Let's see if we can get that fill. Let's see what our top gainers are for the day. TMC continuing to be bullish. Kind of back tested the channel at the end of the day. Red candle, GME. We should take a look at Ford. We said we're looking for 1430s. Let's take a look back at G-sit. That caught a nice bid right off the open. Carl Icon Fund is really just gonna hammer down on me. Man, imagine selling this and saying, okay, we're gonna cut out and we're gonna rebuy the trend line. Oh, God, man. Up at 30 beans. CVNA gave us the fill 2205. So now what I'm looking for, if this wants to pull back in on like the next candle to this gap some way, shape, or form, we can think about a reload if it's a trend line. Like, we got 10 minutes left on this candle. If this candle closes like down here at 2177 and then fills this off this trend line, that's where we'd be looking for some sort of reload. If it wants to keep going, you know, we've already respected these 22s twice. Let's see if we can get a move up to like 2280, and that could probably go into like this bottom right here. So 2280 to 23.5 is what we're going to be looking for there. FVRR, and just like that, trim right at the open, falls right back in. I'll be looking at these previous tops right here before we got that full bull move. I'm sure you have some sort of uptrend right there. If I wanted to, I could just buy back 5 right now. There's our gap up, just like that. Could easily hit a reload right here, but I don't like the red engulfing. So that's going to keep me away from just reloading it right off the open. I'm going to jump around a little bit. We've gotten 3 trims across the board and haven't taken any new trades. I know that Invax was one that we were watching. And I would say that 825 break is going to be legit. But let's start with an alert here before we cross 8. Let's look for that. Intel kind of gave that up right there a little bit. That is not what we wanted to see right off the rip. But I do think that eventually we're going to get a price up there. I could have held it with a little more regard, or just put a stop underneath my 3350. That's what I said I wanted to get yesterday. AI. We could go take a look over at AI. Man, I missed. Nope, no, we didn't miss anything. Oh, thought I was on a daily chart. Yeah, we're looking for this area up here. We're still holding that same piece. We said that if we can hold 36s, we can keep holding this position. So I mean, we haven't done anything with it. We haven't tried reloading. We're just kind of holding our entry that we got. Get an entry, hold a piece for the dream. If that can give us a dream move, then we're all for it. Some of these FXI, let's take a look. Getting the gap up, continuation. There's your bull flag. 1, 2, 3. This is a strange looking bull flag. Get the gap up. Invax gives us an alert. Trying to push 8 right now. That is a pretty dandy of a look. We're just going to try this small size. I normally don't like trying breakouts when I got a lot of my plate. But let's try a little size right here and maybe we can build into this. I'm going to try and get as low as possible. And that fill probably just came in. It just, there was no size on the ask and it took out the bid right away. So Invax new on the trade right there. Is this going to have the strength? You know, this trend line hold has been legit too. GSIT and Invax. Pretty legit. So we got a little piece. Not the most size, but maybe something that we can build into. We got 6 minutes left on this opening candle. But man, that is a really good look right here on Invax. So Invax, as it continues to hold 8, we can maybe try and get a little more off 8 flat. Not the most volume, but the chart setup is definitely worth noting. And there's 805s. And the bid is climbing with it. That is what I want to see. So there's 15 lots on 4s right now, 10 lots on 4s. And now they're stacking right on 5s. So that is really what we wanted to see right there. So that was a live trade. And we didn't really pull the trigger on GSIT. We do have a small piece on GSIT from the trend line. I believe it was somewhere in the middle of this candle right there. So it's 720. And we sat there all day yesterday. You know, GSIT kind of given up a little bit. Has decent volume, but does it look like any longs are really getting in? You know, I think with this name, I think you do have some bag holding with just how consistent we've held some of this uptrend. Now I just want to see, you know, 750 hold as support. So looking back at Invax, You know, if we wanted to, if we really thought that this was going to catch some resistance, we can start taking profit. Right now, we're in right around that 78. You know, it's really nothing to brag about. But if I trimmed, it would give me a little bit more comfort to reload with more size. But this is a really good look. I'm okay just holding it with only having a little bit of size. GGTX. Looks like a trend line hold potentially. Let's go to the daily on that. And I know you guys are probably here looking for Carvana. And Carvana gave up the ghost. So that's why we wanted to get that fill. That's why we wanted to get that fill right there. We said we had this candle had a lot of time. If this candle came into this gap, we can think about it. And we are going to think about hitting a reload on this. If that comes back in near that gap, we're going to try it. And my out is going to be underneath the trend line. I'm pretty confident that this, regardless if we hit this reload and it goes against us, I'm pretty confident this is going to be a green trade. In at 20 halves, all right size, we had one reload. We tried getting another. 21 halves, trying to hold right here. And that is kind of the wick body right there. This is what I want, 21.25. Can we come back in just a little bit further? I'm going to put an alert underneath 21.13. And we're going to go on the bid at, the closing price is 21.25. Let's try 30s. I don't think I'm going to get it. We'll go 21.30s. We're on the bid. If that can give us, yeah, that was probably the closest it was going to get right there. Just like that. Man, that's alright. That still could come back in. Invax. Uh, that candle wick right there is just a little bit scary, but you know, holding this current price, only 15K volume, so really not the most volume. Go to some top gainers. Neo from the 8 could have had an alert. This could have been a neckline break. I'm going to put an alert to the downside there. Until retraced all the ways back to the gap. I still think that this eventually fills that gap. So starting at 21.30 and we will try another reload off of 25s. So we got one fill, 22 fives. You know, not the best price, but it is something. We thought when that candle turned back green that we could get a move up to like 23s. But weren't that fortunate to get that. End phase, nice move on end phase right here. I really wanted this to pull back in just a little bit more. Had I been watching it yesterday, maybe 170, testing these tops right there, as it held right there, But I was really looking for some sort of false break test of 166. The go-to trade, look at that, just churning away. We had the entry on that, and we didn't even freaking know it. Unbelievable. AMD looks fine. Let's go back to NVAX, 8 holding on NVAX, GSIT 770, CVNA And 2130s probably just printed right there. And yes, it sure did. So 2130s, we did get a reload, and we're going to see if this trend line has any weight to it right here. And did the gap fill? Didn't look like the gap filled. Yeah, the lows on both of these go down to 27 and 27. So it just barely didn't fill that gap. So had I put that order right off that gap, I would not have gotten that fill. So now the middle of this red move. When it's that first candle of the day, a lot of times I'm just gonna flip to a 5-minute chart just to kind of base out. So the body of this candle comes up to 47s, and the wick of this candle goes to 60. If I wanted to get that first trim, I could respect that, and maybe the wick high, so 2160 would have probably gave me a fill right here. I could just respect it, and if it comes back in, I can start playing this aggressively. It's trying to reject it, but a nice trend line hold there. I don't even know if I want to start trimming the reload or not. But 2160 would have been what I identified right there, and it would have gave the fill. Does this have to pan out just a little bit more? If it can get through 60s, I feel pretty good though. Rejecting it for the time being. And right back in. Would have been a trim, reload the position. Easy as that. So let's go back to that 15-minute candle. And we would have been right through 60s right now. And now that we're back through, ooh, yes sir, let's get a piece off. Took a piece off. We're gonna go take another piece off. Why not? When you get a good candle move like that, just go ahead and take a piece off. If it comes back in, you can easily just, with comfort. And just like that, 2 trims. Let's go see where those prints came off. So we've got 3 prints on the name. We got a 2185 and a 2180. And the first print of the day was a 2205. We were on the ask. So if this came back into, the wick tops is kind of 2150, or we could just wait for the trend line. A couple different options that we can play with here. If it wants to just rip to the high side, we're all for it. Go on ahead. But NVAX coming into 8 right here. It held. We could try to pick up a few more shares on this if we wanted to. I don't like that it's rejecting near these tops right here. A lot of built-in support. If I just mark the body, you can see all the wicks that come into that. So I don't want to pick up a ton of shares right into this resistance. But down here, like 96s to 92s, look like it would be good. NVAX crossing 98s as the alert. We're already here watching it. And this could be the opportunity to add just a little bit more size. But that was what I was talking about. Had I gotten more size on that initial break, right there would have been easy trims to just respect some of these highs. And then if you can hold these tops right here, so you can see that wick into 95s, there is a bit of buying pressure. And we do have a lot of time left on this candle. So if we want the body candles, it'd be 94s. So let's go ahead and try 94s. Or we'll do 95s just to be safe. If that catches a bid, 95s. We will try it just for another small size order. But I probably should have had that order in already. As you've seen, that wick popped up right away when we. So back over the Carvana, 2174s. Let's go take a look back at Intel. Let's see if that caught any type of bid, and that's what we're looking for. So in the middle of this red candle, I missed the opportunity off the open. I missed the opportunity to put a stop in. This could go right through that, but I'm gonna go ahead and take a piece off of Intel. And not the most size. We're gonna go 10% and see if we can get a little bit higher price. We're at 44s. Back down the 40s. We're just going to go ahead and do that. Alright, just because it was showing me the wick in the middle of that red candle, I didn't want to really play around with it. Wick into the middle of the red candle. You guys can see kind of the same stuff that I'm looking at. So now even with CVNA, if this comes back in, we're going to reload this again. I want to see it give up 21 halves. And let's see like a quick move down the 2140s. And let's go ahead and try it. We'll give it the trend line. You know, we're going to go ahead and try it right there underneath 50s. Oh, not quite yet. See if we can get just a wee bit lower price. There we go. 43s, 47s. Now it's going to try and reclaim. Let's go ahead and try it right here. I don't like the wick in the middle of that candle, but I do like the uptrend if it wants to just hold. We have 8 minutes left in this candle. We can go see what that print came in at. So we got 46 and a half. We marketed, and now we can respect those same areas. If we can get through 2160, you know, same thing. Go back to that 5-minute candle. You can see the wick in the middle of the green candle. So we're gonna respect the body of that candle is 2180. If it gets up to that, we're gonna respect it. And we could even think about a little bit more off this trend line, and my out is gonna be underneath 21. So any reload that I get from the price down to under 21s, even though we have decent support right around there, if there isn't buyers off that gap, then what's gonna make there be buyers off of 2116? And catching a little bit of a bid there. So as that candle got into the 30s, we could have tried a few more, but we're good with what we got, and we're gonna hang tight. So Invex, we do have a fill on Invex. We're gonna need to be careful with this one. We have 2 fills. We're gonna try and get another fill here at 92s, and we could just put a stop in on this name. We're just gonna try that right there and see if that can hold this area price right there. So probably giving it till like 70s. So risking about 20 cents. And we're gonna put an alert on 88. Can it hold these 50s? Intel through 50s, that's good. So if this can take out, we already got our trim, so we're not even gonna worry about it. But we wanted to peek over a little bit. So you can see that one candle where I said, you know, I could just reload this. Boom, push it all the way back in, and I could have already been back trimmed and been back out. All right, I mean, oh my gosh, look at the moves right there. That is crazy. And CVNA, we're gonna start taking pieces off again. Why not? So we're gonna take a piece off there, even though we weren't paying attention for the 80s. It's back in 60s now. Invex crossing that. We might have to think about putting a stop in here. Still has a little bit of hope. We're gonna try one more order off of that and see if that can catch a bid inside of that green candle. And we're gonna put a stop in. Why not? We'll go 72s. Just so it could, we'll put an alert right here. CVNA missed that opportunity to trim that right there. So we're just looking for a trend line hold now. Still holding 21.5, so we like the way that looks. Bramer, how's it going? Not too bad. I wish I could tell you that we got a 22 over. The fill we got was a 22.05, but we didn't get it right off the open, and we thought we could get up to this window potentially. But we did try a reload off of 2130s as it was approaching this gap, and we have two trims at 2180 and 2185, and we were thinking about a reload if this came back into like 2140s. Is kind of what I'm looking at, but 4 minutes left in this candle. I kind of want a little bit more information. NVAX, we did take a trade on NVAX. This looks like it's going to be a losing trade, so we're going to go ahead and put a stop in for this name. If this can't hold these wick tops right here, I don't think I'm going to have much faith in this holding. Is there some sort of uptrend right there? So I'm going to go ahead and put an alert right there. If that alerts us, we got to be ready to get out of this position. But, I mean, 3 minutes left in the candle. I don't like the increased red volume, but there is a little bit of a wick of buying. So I'm going to move that back to like 88s right there. CVNA. Now that it's back here, now I'm going to respect this and get a piece off. Just respect the reload, and just if it wants to keep working for us. NVAX again, this name, oh, it's trying to hold right here. There is a little bit of buying, so we're not giving up on it yet. Go 86s. So back to CVNA. So now if we get a price back into these 40s, now that I have a trim, we can think about buying those shares back. Let me see where that fill came in at as well. So that fill came in at 80 or 68. So not really the greatest, but from the reload, I'd say pretty decent. So we took 22 cents, and let's just get ready to take another piece off. Why not? There's 80s. There's 90s. There we go. That's what we're looking for. So let's see where that fill came in at. That fill came 21.90. So now if it does come back in, now we're going to feel a lot better reloading it. And if it goes up to like 22s, we got to respect it. Right back in the 60s. So now we're underneath my first trim area. I should keep an eye on G-sit. Kind of gave up the ghost. That's alright. We think that there's a trend line right here. We're waiting for that 825 break. You guys can see that. 825 break. And it just so happens my NVAX trade is the same. So a lot of buying came in. That is what I wanted to see. So this one looks like it's going to be a good one. Let's go ahead and go on the ask at my first fill. First fill came in at 99s. We could just take those off if we wanted to. Other than that, the FVRR, we trimmed some right off the open, and it came right back in. We could have reloaded it right off our trend line that we couldn't believe it was just sitting right there. Went all the ways back up. We could have trimmed it and reloaded it again. But we did get a fill off of this where we wanted to respected these levels over to the left and going from there. CVNA still holding this trend line. My out on this name for the day is probably going to be the trend line, where we'll reevaluate it after that. Fubo over 3. Man, I've had so much on my plate right now. Yeah, not a bad wick. So you can see we gap up, we retrace, we try to fill the gap. Buyers coming in off of the highs, and you could say maybe a neckline test right there. So neckline test, it does test over to the bodies of this candle. So the buying came in, increased volume. Now, I would have preferred to say, okay, we're testing 2. Let's get an entry right here. So I'm just going to, and there is a good deal of selling. So when I talked about Fubo yesterday, I wouldn't be surprised to see this wick into like 206. And if it can take out that, maybe just a little bit of sideways action. I'll keep Fubo on watch. I'll keep that on watch. But CVNA 95. So let's go ahead and get ready to take a little bit off at 22. CVNA. And we're just going to take off the reload. I just missed those 22s. And there's 22s. That should have been a fill. And no way that didn't give me a fill. Come on, show me 22s again. If it taps 22s at all, we get a fill. And that should have been a fill. Let me go check. Yep, and we did get another fill right there. So now we're just going to respect this trend line and these previous tops. My reload area is going to be 2140s to 2150s right there if it comes back in. If it doesn't, so be it. We have a position still, and we're going to respect the next level to the upside. So G-sit, let me go back to this one. Wicking into the level a little bit. INVAX. We are at 8, so let's go start taking a piece off of INVAX here. Over 8, so let's just respect some levels. Let's take off a piece right there, and we're going to start printing on this name. INVAX, let's take another piece off right there. Go on the ask at 5s, and there we go. Let's take a piece off there. INVAX, let's go 8 10s. So we're on the ask at 810, and that is going to be a couple fills here and there. We could go 808 as well. So we're going to go we'll go 807. So 807 and 810 we're on the ask for. Or yeah, the ask. CVNA through 22s, that's what we want to see, and let's see if that can take out day's highs. If that takes out day's highs, we're going to be very good about it. Feel very good about that. Let's go take a look back at Fubo. This candle did close, and now we're through that. So this volume is going to be a big tell, and the close of this candle is going to be big because I take really high regard in 3 nice green candles. Now that is where I'm going to be looking for the pullback. So I don't really see much in here except for the top of this body candle. So anytime I have that scenario, I go to a 5-minute and see how it shows me that wick top right there. Nice bull flag continuation look on a 5-minute, but I don't like trading off the 5 minutes. You can see that wick top right there is right at a 2 flat. So I'll pull back in the 2 flat if I wanted to play this. So let's just go ahead and put an alert at like 202. And if that fills, then if that gives us an opportunity, we can think about it. At the moment, I could get an entry into it right now, but I just have a little bit on my plate that I'm watching. But we will put an alert for it. IPR through 72s. We've been waiting for 72 breaks right there and kind of flirting with it a little bit. Is this going to be legitimate? When we put this trend line in, it was the day that I was trading at it. I'm not even kidding. It was the day after I traded at it. We put that trend line in. It closed. We put the trend line in just like that. Since then, no opportunity. Nice bull flag continuation. Could have had alerts at 67. Wasn't sure if it was going to be some sort of downtrend. But I like the confirmed higher low right there. CVNA through 27s. We are on the next candle. Man, I have so much shit right there. Okay. Back to the 15. We haven't had a fill over 22 halves. Or over 22.05. Go to INVAX. So that's alright. We got 3 fills on INVAX already. Let's go. Oh wow, I thought I got 05s. I guess I didn't get 05s. So we got an 802 and an 804 fill here on INVAX. And let's take a look at G-sit. Trying to hold. This trend line has been very resilient. Uh, just because it kind of wadunked, I don't know the correct term for that, just because it kind of shot to the downside like that doesn't mean that this is going to be a loser for us. Small size, small size. We did get a trim somewhere up there. I wasn't even sure, I just marketed. And we should take a look over at Ford. Why does it pull up Forward Industries? So we did get a wick up towards that. We can go on the ask at like 1428. We're gonna go on the ask 1422s actually. So we're gonna take off a small piece, about 10%, 1422s. See if that can give us a fill. Beautiful looking swing trade in the making. Beautiful looking swing in the making. Mara, what's Lucid doing? I'm sure Lucid freaking shot up. Lucid's still sitting right here. That is gorgeous. 15-minute gaps up. Can it hold this area? Probably not, honestly, looking at it. CVNA 2190, so if this comes back in, this is what we're saying. So, we're going to watch this. If this can come back into like 2150s, we're going to try and reload this position. There's 2182s. What's good word, Drift? Oh, it's been an exciting morning. So just to kind of a recap, while we're watching this, we're waiting for 2150s. We're going to reload this position if we get it. Got a trim 2205s. We reloaded 30s. We trimmed two prints at 80 and 85. We reloaded at 46s. And we got trims at 68, I believe 86, 95, and we didn't respect this level. We could have. We thought about it, but now we're looking for another reload. If we can get the reload, so that's CVNA. Invax started this trade a little early. Our first initial fill was a 99 as we got alerted right here. We just marketed ordered in. We took 95s, we took 92s, and we got an 88, and we got trims at 802, 804, and I'm on the ask at 805s. 805s I thought filled, but it didn't, I guess. So we're on the ask at 805, 807, and 810. And we're looking, if we can get all three of those fills, we are going to feel really good about just nursing this position the rest of the day. So this 805, it's still struggling to get to that order. So all I'm going to do for a little clarity is I'm going to change that limit order at 805 to a market. And we're just going to mark it out of a little piece right there, just because it's not trying to fill this 805s. But if we get the 807, we think we're going to get the 810 as well. And let's see if we can get some continuation on that name. G-sit, small position in G-sit. This trend line's been really resilient. So we're going to see if it can hold this trend line. If not, you know, so be it. We do think we have some good support down to 705. So we could just put an alert on this. Okay, so we got that alerted. If that triggers us, we can think about trying to play aggressive off that trend line since the morning has been very good. So FVRR was the other one, Drift. We trimmed this right at the open, right? We get like a 42 print, I think it was. It comes all the ways back down. We were watching it off this trend line. We were like, man, should we just buy those shares back? We didn't. It closes that candle up here. We could have been back out of the position and reloaded it again off these tops. Would have been absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. But we did get one fill, no reloads on the name. And we took our fill on Intel. You're going to be a little disappointed in me, but we did not get this print up here near 34s. We thought about putting a stop in at 50s. It comes all the ways back in, and we got a 42 print, just kind of respecting the middle of this green candle. We just wanted to get a trim on it. So we think that's going to go higher. I think we can get top end of the channel. But yes, that was Intel. So let's go back to Invax. This just doesn't want to give me a breakout right here, but it looks really good. That's That looks very good right there, if you ask me. And CVNA never gives me the pullback into this candle, but you can see early signs of a potential frowny face coming in. Does it hold at these 50s and we get a turn up? That's what I'm going to be looking for. So let's actually go and get that order out right now. CVNA, we're going to go right off 2150. Now keep in mind, my scenario is a lot different. I have over 30 transactions on the name in the last 2 days. This trade is impossible for it to go red on me. If it breaks this trend line, my out is probably 21 flat. So me buying at 50s and risking 50 cents on that does not make this trade go red for me at this point. So keep that in mind if you're trying this order or any of the same orders as me. The scenarios could be 100% different, so you just never know. But I'm going to go on the bid, and we're going to get some of these shares back, and we're going to, it doesn't want to come in the 50s. The lows are 68. Notable move that I can see on the side is XLE. Looking for, it held up pretty good when oil was bloody as hell yesterday. And I think it's probably because it's got a dividend coming up, but there's your bull flag. Held some levels, and now are we going to get bull flag continuation test of this downtrend? So XLE should be on watch for me today. INVAX, let's go take a look back over there. You know, I think we should just stop some shares out right underneath of 8. We can go like 78. That's the middle of the green candle. Ah, man, I really just want this fill, get a couple fills, and then we can just sit back on the position. We got 3 fills on the name. Carvana coming back in right now. Let's go flip back over to that. CVNA, we're at 50s. Let's see if we can get a lower price. We didn't have an order out there, but 50s would have filled right there. Let's go ahead and try it right here. And we got to reload it back into the position. Let's see if these 50s can hold. And it doesn't look like it wants to hold just yet. We can think about adding a few more right here, but our stop is going to be underneath this trend line. We're not interested. If it can't hold this price, it does have a gap that it can respect. I don't like that red candle, but we're going to try it. We got another fill right there. Fubo crossing 202. I think we have at least 30 minutes left before that's going to give us a breakout. So remind me to come back to Fubo. Can this trend line hold? You know, the trend line's probably set more so like this. So giving it the trend line and 21s. So where my 2 reloads just came in at, we got a 2150 half and a 2140. My stop, probably the trend line. So 2135 is coming in right here. Let's go make sure NVAX is fine. Okay, NVAX looks okay. Not the greatest, but okay. Can this trend line hold? That's all I want to see. Can you look at RXT and GME looks juicy? Okay, I'm gonna move this alert up to like 35s right there. Yeah, I'll take a look at them. RXT, Rock Space Technology. I do like the nice increasing volume. The second candle decreased volume, but still a nice looking candle. Some levels. Does this have the weakness to pull back into like that 180 range? That's a lot of the green move. It might not even pull back to that. Let's go take a look at the daily. Bull flag continuation. So that 180 was a breakout point. I'm sure the volume pick up in that first green candle. We can go back to it. I bet that a lot of this volume came in as soon as this was starting to break 175 probably. I'm sure there was some selling at 175, and then the orders just cleaned 180, and that's where you see, if we go to a 5-minute, it'll show that better, I bet. So there's that second candle. So it wasn't the first 5-minute candle. You see that? The second candle, as soon as it took 180s, boom, you see that volume increase? That is what you're looking for right there. So we can see that this was a 180 break. So if it comes back into 180, anybody who went long on that breakout is, if it goes under 180, anybody who took that break right there is going to be out of the money. So that's one thing that you're going to want to have to worry about. I'll come back to that. That's going to take a little bit more time, but this Carvana is giving up the uptrend. We are not going to want to have to cut this one just yet, but it looks like we can try one more order right here off of this gap that's filling right now. This was kind of my fail safe right here. So I mean, we're 3 pennies off. Let's just try it. Might as well, right? So we have 3 reloads on this pullback. I don't like that it's trying to give up the lows. So we're going to go ahead and put the stop in at 20.96. If that fills, you know, that's too bad. CVNA, we're going to put the stop in. Yeah, CVNA looks like it is going to officially be done for us. So it's trying to hold. We got our stop in at 97. So underneath of that wick right there. So if it can hold, it can hold. So I'll go back to that RXT. RXT. I do like this little setup right here on a 15-minute chart. I as close to 180 as I possibly can, potentially, is what I'd be looking for. Uh, I would say it's got a little bit of resistance at 2, holds, rejects, tries to hold, gives it up, rejects it on the way back. So it's 205. The 2 is definitely a level. Can the CVNA hold up? Does it need to pull back into like 1950? 19s, the middle of this green candle is probably 1950s. So 21s are trying to hold. Yeah, that just looks like it's going to go against us, more than likely. Invex. At support right here. GSIT hasn't triggered us. Holding 25s, holding that trend line. That trend line's been resilient. Index. You also said you wanted me to look at GME. I'll go take a look at GME. Is there people putting stops underneath the wicks right there? Could also be buying. This could also be potential early signs of a descending channel because it's rejecting this level over here. So a 26.25 break is what you'd be looking for some sort of bull flag continuation. We can look at the daily quick. Oh yeah, negative to positive after the earnings. Nice green move. Does this have to pull back in till like 24 halves though with that gap up? So it gaps up. The closer to this gap fill is a potential entry. Fubo gave up the 2, so this is kind of what I was worried about, where you know you get that wick up into that area. Well, now if you can take out these wick highs, anybody short off of these 2 candles is going to be out of the money. And we talked about that too in that 5-minute candle. You can see that 2 break when it had it. You have the increasing volume. We have 10 minutes left on this candle, and 2 is holding. So, I mean, if you wanted to pull the trigger, it's not financial advice, but you could 2 average in at like 98, which is the wick tops over here, and have an out. So, I mean, maybe it has to pull back into the trend line, don't get faked out, and have it turn up on you again. CVNA, let's go see if that's triggered us or not. The lows is 21.07, so we are holding on by a thread. Holding on by a thread, and there's 21.31. And this hold. We could just think about cutting the position right now if we wanted to as well. GSIT, let's take a look. 20's kind of giving up the trend line. Invex, still holding. There's CVNA. Yeah, there definitely is potential with the GME. It's just these gap ups. I just want to make sure they're not descending channels. And this definitely does have some sort of uptrend since the gap down, something like that. So maybe a catalyst for it to pull back into this trend line. Oil play and breaking out over top of this neckline and these previous lows. CVNA trying to hold this level. 8 minutes left on this candle. I don't like that it gave up these wick lows. I really don't. And here's CVNA holding the trend line. So had I just said, oh, stop it right underneath these EMAs, we'll stop it right underneath that trend line, boom, you would have got wicked out instead of staying true to a true stop. I said 21 was going to be my out. Now that doesn't mean that this doesn't just shoot through 21s and I get stopped out. And it could have been, oh, I could have saved myself 17 cents. Yeah, very well. But this still has a chance to turn up and work for me. It would have been nice to get those reloads closer to 21 instead of 21 half, instead of 21 35s, instead of right off the gap fill at 28s. Because, I mean, we're out of the money on all of those reloads. But my out is going to be the trend line and, you know, probably these tops as well. We want to see buying come in here at this 21.05, and that's where it came in. So, holding for the time being. Let's take a look back at INVAX. We have 3 trims on this name. We're not sure if it's going to work out for us. We could have a potential descending channel in the making for a descending channel back to the trend line. So is this going to have the strength to... This is why I wanted to trim it. This is why I was trying to get 07s. This is why I was trying to get 10s, and I wasn't able to get those. But we did get 3 trims on the name, and let's see if we can get some further movement to the upside. So I am going to go ahead and take these off for right now in case this wants to go against me. We can always put those orders back in. And we can always be ready for a couple market orders as well. CVNA, we should... Okay, so let's go actually look at where these reloads are at. So we got 50s, 40s, and 30s. Could have been played so much better, but nonetheless, we are going to stay true to it. Plenty of outs, plenty of transactions on the name. Like I said, I don't think that this name can turn red on us. Invax, let's move this alert up to underneath of these wicks. And GSIT, how is that looking? Still wicking into this trend line. This trend line has been freaking just a stronghold since May 12th, May 17th, and now it's holding 33s. So does this have the strength to just trade sideways long enough and then catch a bid to the north side? Maybe. CVNA is still wicking into that. Invex trying to hold. FVRR. Not a half bad look. Had I got a reload, would definitely be trimming right there. Intel holding the level, so decent out that we had. Ford board, we are on the ask at 22s. 1422 is where we're on the ask. We'll go ahead and just move this right there. 1422, if that fills, we will be pretty happy with that. So candle does turn green. If this gets in the money anywhere, we're gonna just take a piece off from the first reload. But I do like that that candle turned green. And see if it can claim 50s. Nope, rejects 50s. Let's see if it can claim 50s. It's gonna go try again. We have 10 lots on 49 that we gotta take out. Rejects it for the time being. Now if I go to a 5-minute chart, you can see, I can show you why it rejected that. Wicks into it, rejects it. Now if it catches a bid up to here, we're gonna be aggressive. We're gonna trim. We're gonna try and get 4 trims from the course of 53s to 67s. And if it wants to go higher, we are all for it. But we just want to make sure that we can continue. If it comes back into like this 21 quarter, do we think about reloading on the trims that we get right here? We could play this trend line aggressive if we think that there is any true meaning to it. But it's possible that the trend line's supposed to be set like that, and we're actually testing the bottom of it right now. So a couple different ways of looking at it, where this is the trend line hold, you give it up, and now we test the bottom end of it into some shortable levels. There's 50s, 51s on the ask. We can take those out if the bid stack 50, and there's one lot stacked at 50, got taken out right away. We're going to be ready. Oh, wasn't able to just catch a small bid. Catch a bid. Let's go. Come on. There's 50s again. 51s. And it rejects it again. Not the sign that I was looking for. Three candle moves to the downside. You have one. The initial candle move right here is increased volume. Now we're getting 2 decreased volume candles on this. I don't know if this is going to have a chance. I don't know if this is going to have a chance. It looks like a short. This is a bear flag that's panning out. And they're telling themselves, hey, we have some sort of descending channel. Like that. Once we break down, we have this trend line, but that's a slippery slope if this trend line gives up. But it is trying. It is trying. If we can reclaim 50s strong, it's going to be a lot better look. Let's go take a look back over at NVAX. NVAX giving up 90s. The 15-minute chart's going to look all right. A little wicky though. So let's just go ahead and I think we can just stop out of this one. It's got a nice uptrend though. Trying to hold these levels right here. Let's see. Let's just move this up just a wee bit right there. If that crosses, we can think about it. $45s. We can look back at that RXT briefly. Strong move. Rejecting 203s. Previous low. Reject. Hold. Give up. Reject. Breakdown. Does it reject it? If it rejects it, can this pull back in? Honestly, I feel I missed the entry on this, so it's tough for me to look over to it, but it's a strong move. You got the entry. I think you're looking pretty good. I would respect this 2 level, 203, maybe a 205 as well. Not a half bad look. CVNA just looks like it's not going to be able to hold this. Just watching the CVNA. 2 of the reloads are in the money, one of them's not. So there's 50s. Here we go. We have the open of the next candle. Can we just go right through 50s? I'm going to take this out of the way. It just looks sloppy. I have an idea what it is. Can this hold 42s? I don't want to see this come back and test this trend line because trend lines are meant to be broken. Trend lines are meant to be broken, fellas. 62 lots on 50s now. If we can take that out. And we took those out, but it rejected it. We took out a good chunk of them right there. Two lots on 50s we got to take out. Can't take them out. There's 50s. Just continues to reject 50s. Yep. And here it's probably going to officially give up this trend line. We can raise that stop up to like 14s. Clearly a descending channel. Potentially. I wouldn't be surprised to see a nice red engulfing candle through our stop. 2130s Invax crossing, so we are probably just going to think about exiting. We're going to go ahead and put the stop in. No, let's just get out. We thought this one was going to work for us. It still could. Holding 90s. Trying to at least. Right at the bottom end of the channel though, it's let's re-put an alert in. CVNA held strong. Holy buckets. I can't even believe that. There we go. Now we're going to be able to get some out. CVNA, can it go through 50s this time? It just has not been able to get through these 50s. Can it take out 50s? I think if it can just take out 50s, it has a chance, but we gotta be quick. We're gonna want to be quick. $14 lots on 50s. You know, once we get these first couple trims, we're gonna feel so much more relaxed. I like the wicks. I like the wicks. Giving up 40s. Just another 50 reject. Can it reclaim? If it can reclaim 50, we feel pretty good about this. Intel, nice little churn. FVRR, trying to take out the highs. Ford, approaching our 1422 trim. Invax, still trying to hold. CVNA, trying to hold. The more it leaves that wick, the better I feel about potentially claiming these 50s. And there we officially claimed 50s for the first time. No, we gave it up again. We gave it up again. Man, imagine had I gotten that reload down here. We could have been respecting these 50s all the ways through. 3 lots on 50. Can it just take these 50s out? Underneath that wick seems reasonable. Seven minutes left in this candle. $24 lots on 50s. Invax holding fairly. Is it going to be this tight channel down to the trend line? The more it just trades sideways, the better I'll feel about it. I think I just need a little patience with this. A little patience. It's going to pick a decision here soon, though. TMC, talked about it. Taking out highs now. Officially filled 110. Fubo attempting to take out the highs. So there was that 2 and try to get a 198. You wouldn't have got the fill, but you'd be sitting pretty decent in the money. So yeah, that's a good find right there. That 2 break and hold looked pretty well. This BAO, nothing crazy. Giving up 40s. Can we hold? Intel is through 3350s. Let's see if we can get a further break to the upside. DAL, oh, that is what we like to see. Blasting higher. Fubo now 208. Invax rejecting the previous low for the time being. Oh no, it looks alright. It might just need to trade sideways for a while. And this is probably going to be the end of her. It looks like it. The trend line can hold. Holding for now. Anything else? BYND question mark? BYND. Took out the highs. I would just mark these for a potential move back in. 1320 to 1307. Nice 3 points of contact. Potential extension up to current price right there. So that's what we're trying to fight through right now. That kind of previous low right there, reject, reject, tries to hold above it. Reject it right here. Can you reject it right here? Can you break over that? Is it going to be a wedge pattern that coils and then we break? Yeah, beyond meat, not half bad. It has the increased volume. 3 red candles to the downside right here, meeting in around a 13.15 wouldn't be half bad in my opinion. Invex, go keep an eye on that. So we're through 96s now. Just kind of following, and there's 99s. Can this break out? Let's actually go get a piece off at Invex right here, just in case this doesn't really want to follow. We're at 99s. 8. It's trying to take out 8s. Can it take out 8s? Let's take a piece off. Let's try and get through those 99s real quick. Can it break through 99s? Wasn't able to just yet. Let's see if that has a chance. CVNA back at 2150s. Just holding this trend line. Rejecting the top end of this potential downtrend though. I mean, I think you're going to see a red engulfing go through all of that. I think we can up that stop officially to like a 2115. So let's go ahead and do that. 2115 mitigates the risk a little bit. Yeah, that's really not that big of a loss. From the 3 reloads, you know, it is what it is. Could have been respecting these 2150s over and over again. Coulda, shoulda, woulda. FVRR trying to take out the highs. Intel gonna attempt to take out the highs. How about that green move? A lot of volume coming into that name. Go to, man, that's too bad. We paper handed that one. It is too bad. Rig right around a 6 flat. Trying to hold. Rejecting some levels. Still at 97s. This is a candle that we pretty much need to see break these 50s. We could even go 2120 below this wick. We want nothing with it. But I mean, that could hold. You know, let's go ahead and do that. Just mitigate some risk. We're going to go underneath of this wick, so 2120s. If it can hold, it can hold. We think that we can get a higher move. But we rode the CVNA, and maybe it gives us a better opportunity like this, where we get this descending channel back into 1950s. So we do think it's possible. We do see potentially a reason for it to pull back. DVAX did have a break. INVAX back at 799s on the new candle. Is this going to be able to break out? Can this give us a break of this channel? And now we are through those 99s, so let's just mitigate a little bit of risk and take a piece off. I wasn't able to get 99s, but we will take that. CVNA just looks like it's not going to have the juice. It could. It very well could. We'll move to 18. CVNA just doesn't look like the setup that we want today. It did originally. I'm kind of ready to just get stopped out of it and move forward and find something else. Let's start searching, see if we can find something. Unity, that's an interesting setup. Traded sideways long enough all the ways to the trend line. Now flirting with the flat top. What's the daily look like here? I mean, I could see the catalyst where we get a green engulfing candle through that. Looks like that gap was filled. Looks like we have some resistance that this is going to need to fight through potentially. We wanted to get Unity back over here, but wasn't able to do that. CVNA, is that holding strong? It did hold strong for the time being. Now you can see the catalyst. If we get over 2165, this looks really good. Patience is key sometimes. I know it's a little bit, you got some dip on GME. Let's go take a look and see what we're looking at. So this is the one thing that I said I would want to be careful with, is that it's following this descending channel and you're kind of off the uptrend, but you do have some levels here. This 25 is an interesting level. It rejects it quite a bit over here, and then it breaks it, tries, and then we gap up and hold above this area. So I could see the catalyst. You know, maybe I could move this up to that neckline right there, and that's right around the 24.94. So some people can trade these. I'm not good at picking the bottoms off of the open moves, and there's probably pre-market data in right there that I'm missing. So you probably have your ins and your outs. Invax trying to peak over. This is what we were looking for with Invax here. Can it break this 8 decisively? Let's go look at some of the top volume. So we have SoFi, kind of gave up the ghost. Neo, not a half bad look. Not any consistent volume though. Lucid, still just a big nothing. AI, trying to build that U shape. AI is not half bad. GME, catching a small bid. For what it's worth, I would say if I was in that trade taking this off of a 25 flat, I would mark that previous wick right there, and I would respect, that would be my first trim. 25 to 30, right in there. Because that's also part of the middle of this red candle. And if I switch to a 5-minute chart, you'll see a little bit better. Not really, but you wick, and that's the price that it's trying to hold. But I would say more so right there as it tries to hold it. So those two wicks, the bottom of the body candles, and you could also say these wicks could be some resistance up near 50s. Disney catching a little bid. Gap up, continuation. That looks a lot better on a 15-minute for sure. Invax is trying CVNA. We are through 50s. Let's go get a piece off. Oh boy, look at the patience paying off here. Let's get a piece off. First trim since the reload. Oh my gosh, I have an existing order. Quickly, quickly, quickly. We missed out on 5 pennies from where we could have got it. But we got 21.55s, first trim. Now we're feeling a little bit better. Can this actually be more like that? I don't think it's out of this downtrend yet. Let's go take another piece off. I said we were going to be aggressive these first few trims, just securing some money. So we did just get a 60 print there. So we got the first reload. Now we're 20 cents up on our second reload. So sitting where we want to now, we have a little bit more comfort. And now we can focus more on Invax. Can Invax break this? And is it set perfectly? Could be set a little bit higher like that, maybe. G-sit holds the trend line. That's what we're talking about right there. Hold the trend line. Fastenal through 56. Shout out to Pops. He's been working at Fastenal. I've been telling him that, hey, we've had this cone. If it wants to just hold and stay true to it, this is where you get those breakouts on these cones. Boom. If we can get a breakout, we can see we have a little bit of resistance over here. Up to 56s, and we have a gap fill up at 57.20s. That is what we want to see. Rejecting it for the time being, but 56 did print. So let's clap it up for Pops there. He did just get a fill. CVNA now not looking so dumb trimming those 60s. I like this second channel that we're in. Can it hold? So we got a couple trims off. We feel a lot better with this name. And I'm watching Invax on the other monitor and rejecting. So that is why we needed to be aggressive with those first couple trims right there. That was just crucial to the trade. It doesn't seem like much. Taking 5 cents and 10 cents from that first reload. It doesn't seem like much, I understand. But this is going to hold us a lot more clear if this comes down to like 25 and starts breaking this trend line. We're even going to adjust that trend line a little bit. Can this break out higher? We're going to find out. So back to the top volume gainers. Unity. Trying to give that bull flag continuation. It already showed it can take out the highs. Does it hold these 38s? This is where the orders would want to be at right there. We would have gotten 1, 2 fills. And 80s right there. So Unity, not a half bad setup. GME, you're sitting pretty good. This is pretty much where I'd want to make sure I got my first 2 trims right here in these 2530s, the 2525, and hold a piece for a bigger move. If you can get up to the bodies of the candles, the body of this candle is 50s. So right in this range, I'd say you're in the middle of trimming potential right there. 25 cents, is it a lot? Not really, but for early trims, 5-10%, I'd say probably worth it. The middle of this green move, you're just never sure. But you're probably doing pretty good if you got an entry right around 25s. You're feeling pretty good at the moment. Shop. We did identify this gap up and said, it did have a flat top that I was trying to break. Go take a look back at INVAX. And we're sitting right at that 8. Can this give us the break that we're looking for? Looking at that, it looks like it can. I mean, it has the setup. That daily setup, if it can get over 825, we have the golden entry if it gets over 825. CVNA, what's it doing? There we go. Can we get a break higher? This is what we want to see. Can it just get just a little bit higher? We said 65s, 2165. If we seen it, that was be very, very juicy. If I can get over 65s. Nice trend line hold. I was a little skeptical at first, but it's trying. There is 60. Looking at INVAX, 9 lots on 8. Should take a look back at GSIT. Holding the trend line, that's all we want to see. Holding the trend line. Fastenal. CVNA, can it break this downtrend? It's rejecting it for the time being. Let's see the top gainers on the day. TMC. This is just so depressing. Excuse me. That is depressing looking at that. We were calling this one out. It just never gave us that entry yesterday. It would have been tough holding into the close with that move to the downside. We knew this one had some juice to it. The way this volume looked, we called this out the first day that volume came in. Man. Nice move. Nice move. The Fubo trade looking really good. That 2 break is looking pretty good. If I didn't have as many trades on at the time, that 2 level was beautiful. I gotta say that 2 level was pretty good. It could be 10 cents in the money, 5%. Be pretty good. Invex wasn't able to take out 8. CVNA, let's go back. COSM trying to hold. Nothing really crazy here. 3 flat. Is this a trend line? I don't know. FVRR close to day's high. It did wick day's high, so that looks good for continuation top end of the channel. We can think about 30 flat. 30 flat, hold piece for the dream. Carvana pushing. There we go. There's a break that we wanted right there. CVNA. Let's go on the ask. That is what we were looking for. Let's start taking off small pieces. We're gonna. This is only under 5% of the position right there. We're just gonna respect some levels. CVNA. Now we can feel really good reloading the trend line. CVNA, let's take off that same small piece again at 75s. See if 75s can fill. That's the body tops here. 75s, that's what we're looking for. We're going to take out this channel for the time being, and let's just leave this uptrend in a sense. Something like that. And we get 75s. Invex. Let's go take a look back. Still rejecting 8s, and there it's coming back in. That's why we just wanted to respect that. Does this need to pull back into like 93s before we can break that? I think 8 is the breakout level that we are looking for. Okay, so looks a little bit GME 2550. You got that 2550. Very nice. Nice. Were you calling out 2550s because that's where you got the trim? 'Cause I would say that is a pretty nice move, and it should give you a little bit more clarity to maybe reload the position if you trimmed it. And that is a little bit of a wick candle into that. All in all, I still think that this is going to be some sort of descending channel. Does it trade? So when I get looks like this, I just want to see it trade sideways long enough where I can take the trade over here at a higher price. You know, if that needs to pull back in first and then we break out over here, okay, then it saves me a little bit. But I like having a little bit more clarity. That doesn't mean that you can't make money. Still hold some, yes. I think if you got the entry around 25s, respect 50s, you got your fill, beautiful. And if you can get a higher price, you know, more power to you. Solid trade. Very well done, Kramer. Very well done. CVNA, we never got those 75s. That doesn't mean we can't get it right now. Can we bring the register? We're at 2170s. Can I see 2175s? 2175s, that's what we're looking for. 2505, beautiful entry. Beautiful entry. Playing that 25 flat level. I love it. I love it. That's what we like to hear. Continuing to reject 2170s. But really nice look. Is there still some way we can mark a downtrend like that? Let's clear the chart. There could be something there which is why we respected 70. We got 68 print, but just the way that that looks right there, I don't know if we have this playing out. I think we're approaching a breakout area if we can get it. Intel is just on one. That is what we like to see. Intel, keep running. AI, I forgot about AI. AI taking out the highs on increased volume. Pullbacks into the neckline, reasonable sort of setup if we wanted to reload, but we are okay with the position we got. We're holding for 40 gap. Can we get the 40 gap? That is what we have been waiting for. CVNA still rejecting. Got out of on it. Yeah, it was testing the waters for sure. The only reason why I held is because it was trying to hold this trend line, and I adjusted it a couple times before I had it like this. Well, it was kind of giving up. I had to stop in right underneath this wick. This is why staying true to a stop sometimes is this is a good example of it. Doesn't always work out that way, but it gives me a little clarity that okay, I had to stop in a good area, getting good reads. Uh, and let's see if we can get a further breakout. I don't think it's out of the woods yet. We still have a potential descending channel marked right here, and there is a catalyst for a pullback. You make a run, you retrace back down, build a neckline, you double bottom off the trend line, and then this eventually ends up being a breakout price at a later date. So we're not counting that out just yet, but we think that it can break this channel, and if it does, we think we can get back up to 22s, where we will gladly be trimming near 22s. Would have been nice to get the better reloads down towards 21, but we got 50s, we got 40s, and we got 30s. So held it against me a good amount, but so here's the INVAX. If we wanted to reload, we could think about it right here in the middle of this green move, but it is respecting this descending channel right here. Can it hold these areas? The trend line is going to be my out here. 92s. We could think about it. This is the nut up or shut up area. We could think about it. If we think that this can turn over, we have 7 minutes left in this candle. Let's give it a little bit more time. Let's go take a look over at GSIT real quick. And GSIT, look at that trend line hold. This trend line, just wow, just wow. Couldn't be more bearish. Look at that increased red volume, red engulfing right down to the trend line. Even wicks below it, 7 cents. Holds, closed above it. Now we're sitting back at 740s. Unbelievable. That is unbelievable hold of the trend line there. So the index trying to hold this level. Do we have some sort of trend line like that? I don't know. That's going to make it sloppy. Let's just keep this on watch. We're not going to give up on this one just yet. Can it hold this body candle low right here? Let's go take a look back at CVNA. CVNA gave us the fill at 75. Ring the register. Let's go at the top of these wicks. The body candle's 80s. Let's go like 95s and put another small trim there. Just keep it running the register as high as it wants to go. Small trims, about 5% each one. And let's put a limit, 21. We'll go 2190. 2190, we're still not sure it can get over top of this. 2190 is reasonable. Invax, still holding the level, kind of. 5 minutes left on this candle. We can go take a look back at GME, and there you go. You're gonna get rewarded on that. Wicking into those 62s, that is the true wicks over here. Not really wicking. It's a nice green candle. It's actually blasting through them right there. I don't know what your plan is with this, but I'd say your next area past those wicks is the top of the candle and the bodies of these candles over here. So like 21, 5, 84, kind of meeting in with the early set downtrend that we have. Can it blast through that? Maybe. Does it reject it, pull back into like 25, 25 and catch a bid? So yeah, right through those wicks. Beautiful look right there. Very nice trade. FVR. Do we take a piece off or we just let it keep going? And CXAI. Here we are. Let's go and think about putting one on the tape. Limit, we're going to go 39.90. 39.90. That is our next trim. We have the order out. That'll be $7.25 in the money. If we can ring the register on 39.90, I will be very, very happy. CVNA, it's gonna try. It's gonna try. Let's see if we can get 2190s print. The volume's increasing, breaking through the channel. Invax, holding very good. That is what we wanted to see. A wick. We're right at the nut up or shut up level. Body of the candle, holding the level. Previous high, previous high. Can it hold? We don't know yet. We have 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 3 minutes left on this candle. There's 2183, 2185. Do we see 90s print? We are completely through this downtrend. There's no other way that we can set this. And there's 2190s. Let's go on the ask at 22s. Take another small piece off. Oh, just didn't get that order off in time. Still looks like we're going to get a test through 22. 9 lots on 99, 15 lots on 99, 1 lot on 98. There's 99s, there's 2s. That should be a fill right there. Took another piece off. Now can we get a breakout? Can we get the breakout? CVNA. No, 25s. Oh my gosh, we're right through that. Let's take a piece off. CVNA. Got a piece off. Where'd that fill come in at? Invax. The only thing that's going to make this day better is if this Invax wants to break this channel. We got 22.27 print on that last one right there. Oh my gosh, AI gave us the print. We are still holding a piece. Holding a piece. Can we get the almighty move all the ways up to the tops here? Good lord, look at that move on AI. Man, now I'm really hating myself for not reloading this. Everything's blasting higher. Invax holding 96s beautifully. G-sit. Whew. Man, I hope you're liking this, Kramer. We're putting on a frickin' show here with this Carvana trade. GME, damn. GME, let's take a look at that. Why are you saying damn? Right up to the downtrend, I would respect it. That's my personal opinion. Obviously, you're doing a lot better with it than me. You're in at 25s, and there is a sort of break through that downtrend. Next thing I'd have marked is the body of the candle. It's fought through the wicks, fought through these bodies. It hasn't gotten through the woods yet. This was an early set to the downtrend. It looks like it wants to break through it. I'd be on the ask at, you could respect 26 if you wanted to. But after that, 26.20 looks pretty good. CVNA, let's go take a look back. Man, this looks like it's going to want to set a flat top. We can think about reloads now. We've got plenty of trims on this name. If this pulled back into like 2150s, we're there for it. Maybe in the bodies of the candle, 2170. We have some trims there, but holding a good piece of the position. AI, man. We only got one fill on this. We took a 3990 print from a 32 something entry. We've been holding this. We've been waiting for this breakout for some time, and we are getting it right now. So let's see if we can get a further run up to, like, I don't know, these tops are right here around top wicks right there around 41. This just took out the highs. Very strong name. I don't think we need to even trim any more of it today. We got the one trim on it. Let's hold and see if this can even take out 44s. If this took out 44s, this thing, I mean, who knows how high this could go. You have previous lows on the left meeting in that resistance. Excuse me. Man, a ton of excitement. 46 looks reasonable. Let's go back to CVNA up at 2219s. No interest in trimming. We got a 2727 print. What is the high of that candle? 2229. 2 pennies off the highs. Obviously, when you trim the level all the ways up. But what were we waiting for? We were waiting for that 65 break. We had a descending channel marked. As soon as you take out 65, there it is. Boom. Nice green candle to the upside. Does it just hold resistance here? Do we pull back into 75s? Do we think about reloading it again? That's what it's like being in the driver's seat. You get the entry, you trim the levels, you reload, you trim some levels, you reload, you trim some levels, and you trim the levels all the ways up. That is just gorgeous. Invax holding 96s. Are we going to get a channel break right here? An 8 break, 8 flat. If this takes 8 flat, we're going to see a green engulfing candle, hopefully, up to the upside, like a 810, 812. We'll start there. True break on this name. I mean, you guys can see the flat top right here at 820. We're calling an 825 break, and that meets in over at this previous top right here. Building the U shape. Does it need to trade back down first? Maybe. But that's what we're watching. GME. Nice green candle move up to the upside. Let's take a look over at Intel. Took out the highs. And is it going to give me another move higher? Invex trying to hold. Can it hold? Who knows? I'm gonna keep an eye on GMA. If it breaks 26, can get crazy, to be honest. Yeah, I'm not denying that. If it gets over top of that high, but I will say, yeah, over that 50, I agree. Does it wick and give me an entry down here at 2550s? Maybe. As bad as it might say, until it takes out that high, it has all the signs of breaking that downtrend. I mean, the way that looks right there, you can't really do much more with it. So I mean, it looks really good. I'm not denying that. I would just rather have this entry. The entry you have is what I would have. The way I got some other trades going, I'm probably not going to take a breakout on it, but fantastic move. Very well done, Kramer. Looking at the biggest losers on the day. Alright, let's get back on track. Invax, is it going to give me a breakout? Hurry up and give me the breakout. Oops, redo that. Come on, I know you want to. Look at this sideways chop. This is exactly what I want to see for an 8 flat break. Can we get it? And there it looks like we're early signs. There is 8 flat. Come on. Come on. Early signs. Just a little small peak. Is the downtrend set perfectly though? Could it be set like this? This is why I really just gotta see it get over 8. IEP, I don't know if drift is still here. Trend line held. I cannot believe we paper handed it and didn't get back in off of it. I cannot believe that. Look at that move that this has had. Absolute insanity. The GFAI, let's not sleep on this one. Trendline has been holding decent. Is that downtrend set perfectly? Probably not. GFAA trying to. It has the increased volume. Not the most amount of volume, but relatively higher for this name. If I was setting an alert, I'd want it right there. It would have triggered. Catalyst to run higher with the channel. Looking at the NQ, that 702 is what's trying to break through right now. Is this where it rejects? I have no clue. Everything's strong today. I would expect it to blast through that in some way, shape, or form. But if it didn't, it is rejecting it for the time being. Invax trying to break 8. It just can't. It just can't. And there it's kind of giving it up right there. Still has time. Still has time. CXAI catching a bid. I'm sure everything AI related is catching a bid right now. Nvidia is up 3%. AI is up 7%. Drift is here. Drift's always here. AMC is doing great. Yeah, we can take a look at AMC. Strength on the day, gaps up, holds a level. I would just mark potential descending channel. We've seen how the channels have been working today. They've all been breaking through them. Holding right at a level. That's the open of the price. It tries to break out, gives it up. Does it reject it now? I'd mark. Does this low hold? I don't know. Here's your gap fill. Do you have a trend line? I'd say that's sort of a channel right there. Your top end of the channel, give or take, like that. Then we switch over to the daily. AMC is just going to be like that until I see a break of the channel one way or the other. Maybe bottom pick around that 4 flat, but that's a flat bottom break with the catalyst to go down further, potentially. CVNA still holding 22s. G-sit, we can go take a peek back. Holding the trend line. Unbelievable hold of the trend line. Couldn't be more of a short look with the red engulfing, increased red volume. Somehow has the audacity to fight through. That is a sight right there. I can't even believe that. Invax, can we get a break at 8? That's all we're looking for. Out is going to be the trend line, so giving it a little bit of risk. It is what it is. That's how I see it. If it can hold this 94, we have 2 minutes, 30 seconds left in this candle. Let's go ahead and watch this. But just clearing the chart and just kind of clean it up a little bit. Descending channel in its finest. Mark the tops. That's everything that I would need to say, hey, if this curled over, does it hold the trend line and eventually retest and then give me a break later? I don't know. A lot of time left in the day, so we want to give it a little bit of time. CVNA, we're okay just holding this. We're expecting this to kind of fight through this area right here. The full retracement on the name. 2270. Can we get a move up there? Maybe. Maybe. I don't know. Rejects it. Now it breaks over the 382. I'm expecting this to hold. And it looks like it's going to try to break out right now. I can take this channel out. I'm no longer convinced that this is a channel. And I have no intention of thinking this is going to be a double top. Unless we got a red engulfing candle that broke underneath these wicks, I just don't see a reason for it. So, strong name. Hold strength, 46 is the lowest it got to on this wick. And now we're sitting up at 140. Good strength. We look over at the daily. Gaps up, fills the gap. Can it make a push up? We're going to find out today. FVR continuation play. Let's just go ahead and take a piece off of FVR. I mean, might as well, right? You cannot complain with being over $3 in the money. So let's go ahead and take a piece off. About a 5% trim right there. Over $3 in the money. Not quite $3 in the money. Close. Close to $3 in the money. Invax, 98. So this candle is getting ready to close in 22 seconds. Can we get a breakout on Invax? I'll be right back. I gotta take this call. Be right back, fellas. Okay, we're back. Yeah, wait for this next candle open. It's trying to show the catalyst that we can break over this 8. This 8 is the true break. Actually, the true break, call it like an 807. If we can start flirting with the bodies of this over here, that's 809. True breakout is a 25, obviously. We've talked about that. 22s. This is going to be areas of trim. If we can get a leg up on this, we are going to be very excited. CVNA looks like bull flag continuation. One indecision candle, decreased volume, but you have nice wick of buying right there. Is this going to build some sort of ascending channel that can break? Something like that, tight. We flip over to like a 1 minute. You can kind of see what I was trying to do right there. Something like that. A tight channel to the upside. And then I'm sure you have some sort of uptrend like that for a catalyst to break higher. But let's take those out because that just makes it look sloppy. And I hate a 1 minute chart, but sometimes you can see the exact price actions. If it needs to pull back in, we're expecting 21.85 to hold is really good support. We marked these previous body candles and the wicks up to 60. So we're looking at this as a reload window. We will gladly reload the name. It's done very well for us. So looking back at INVAX, we should have the next candle, and it looks like it's giving up the ghost a little bit. I do not want this to be a descending channel, but we do have a potential uptrend that could end up holding. But do we want to hold this all the way back into 70s? No. And there's 92s. Is this going to be able to hold? I hate dealing with these. I'd much rather just stop out right here, even if it breaks higher. And that way I just don't even have to watch it, you know? I don't have to put my attention to it. Worry about a red engulfing to the downside. We can go back to AI. That was a really strong top of those wicks. We said we could respect it. We only had a small piece of this left, so we got to be careful with where we're trying to trim this. And we're over $6 a share in the money. So is it okay to just look away from this and hold it? Yeah, I think so. With the small position that we have, Intel looks like a nice bull flag. You got the decreasing volume on 3 nice candle increases. Decrease, decrease, and now this candle's slightly turning green. We have 11 minutes, 30 seconds left on this candle. Looks pretty good. FVRR, we got 2 trims on the name. Man, I wish I could have told you my first trim we reloaded. We didn't. But as we approach the top end of this potential channel, we are going to probably have another trim on this name as that meets in with these wick highs over here. So that's what we're looking for. So we got a trim over 30 on this name, and we're feeling pretty good about it. So the one that I'm worried about is INVAX. It's the only one that's following the catalyst of the descending channel. But we do have an uptrend that can hold right here. So these uptrends have been holding very well, and we have a lot of time left on this candle. So just because it was red engulfing there, not a huge increase in volume. So I mean, if I wanted to, this is a nice move. I could switch to like an hour chart, and you can see still in the middle of that hourly move right there, holding these tops. So is this move over yet? Tough to say. Very tough to say. I do like the uptrend that it has. Still trading inside the channel. You can only do so much, but the 30 minutes looking pretty good. If it can hold these tops right here, we have 792 and 788, which 788 probably meets in right around 785 is a wick top right here. This one's probably going to end up being a losing trade, but we did have, you know, 4 or 5 trims. We had another trim right over here. 4 or 5 trims on the name. Is it going to be done? I don't know. We can go take a look at GME. Kramer's in on GME. He has a 25.05 fill, damn near the wick bottom. So very good entry that you had there. Didn't care about this potential descending channel whatsoever. 9 minutes left in this candle, little wick of buying. You have three nice green candle move to the upside. Nice volume in all three of those candles, and light volume at the time being, only 12K in this candle. 9 minutes left, of course, but a nice decrease in volume. If this holds, you could see it take out 26.52, which is our breakout price over top of these wicks over here. So that's what we're looking at. Yeah. Forward, we can go take a look and see if that filled our. We're on the ask at 1422s, and if it doesn't get that for us today, no problem. We're also keeping an eye on G-sit. It's giving up the trend line for the time being, which is this trend line set perfectly? I don't know. It could be maybe pulled down just a little bit like that. Been holding for the time being. At the time, it did wick into it. So G-sit is definitely one that we're keeping on watch. And I would say a break over like 750. That is going to be our breakout. But we have an alert for this downtrend. Man, this downtrend hold has been legit right here. So a couple trend lines that I can fall to. So I'm looking for 7 support on that name. Top movers on the day, we did have Unity on watch. Just never pulled the trigger. Retraced into the previous highs and now testing the highs. We did have Fubo on watch. We had too much on our plate early, and we were talking about this 2 flat level. If you wanted to pull the trigger, here's where it is. Top of this body candle as well. Nice continuation move. Nice increased volume. And breaking out over top of this wick high. You do have some lows over here. So like 220s. But Fubo was on watch. TMC, we never got the entry yesterday. Could have. Never was even watching it here. Gaps up. Just continuation. Invex, trying to hold this level. 7 minutes left on the candle. Can it? I don't know. I really don't know. Is it possible you have some sort of trend line like this? We just clear out the whole chart. Is it possible there's something like this? Maybe. Maybe. But I like the descending channel. If this wants to hold, we have another sort of trend line that could be in like this. You don't have 3 points of contact, so that is worrisome. But I'd say this has an even longer trend line that could be a channel. Sort of like that. Give or take, something like that. You guys get the point. So that's all we're looking at. Can we get a break at 8? So, I mean, I could have an order at 8, but I'm in the position. So just in case I look away, I want to make sure that that lets me know. Excuse me. CVNA, I'm sure there's still some holders in CVNA. Man, I was looking away. I probably could have had an alert on it. Let's go look at how that acted. In this current candle, large selling wick into that. That was kind of our break price. Can we get back up there? Do we need to respect it up there? Looking at the daily, it is more the middle of this red candle move right there. And Invex crossing could be trouble over here. Nice red engulfing to it. You know, we could just go and cut it. So it looks like we are going to get a follow of the channel. Is this going to be able to hold? Tough to say. Tough to say. We got 22 lots on 89, so that could hold. 40 lots on 88, so at 8 through 89s. Could be some support here. That one is probably going to end up being a loser for us. We thought it had a chance up here. It was so close. Invax wicking into it a little bit. Let's see if size. Tried the stack on 89s. 9 on 89s. Now, my options here. This is where we were sitting with Lucid yesterday, where we were just trading sideways. I could cut this position if it came back in the 92s, or at least trim the position, and I could also do the same thing at 94s. The middle of this red candle, we have 3 minutes left, so there's 91s. Putting a wick into it, but this also could. We have 3 minutes left. Looking at the NQ, we now have 2 tests, 3 tests into our 702 retracement. That you can see over here, that is our 702, give or take. We don't have volume there, but NQ is rejecting it for the time being. Two minutes left on this candle. We're right at 92s, so the bottom of this wick is actually holding for the time being. This play right here is just gonna take time. That's my honest opinion. It's gonna take. It's even trying to close up here. So if I wanted to get out of this, if I thought that, you know, we're gonna get it red engulfing through this, I could just cut this right here. But I'm having a decent day, so I think I can be a little bit, play with the house money a little bit and hope for some sort of break of this channel. CVNA wicking in the 22s. This battle is nowhere near being over. It didn't even have the weakness to get back down to 22s. So just because you see this large wick, you know, that could be early signs of something. We are getting some increased volume. We have a minute left on this candle, but there is some buying as well. So not the worst setup in the world. And Invex, you know, right up at 95s now. So looking more at the 30. The 30 minute has 15 minutes left on it. It's the second candle, and it's on the 30 minute, still holding above everything. So 15 minutes also doing that, and now we're at 96s. So is this possible for this to give us a breakout? Maybe. That is a nice wick. That's why just patience. Patience. How many people that had stops underneath this wick right at 89s just got stopped out? It's possible. ASTS. This is one that we've been watching. You want to talk about an uptrend holding? Boom, 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 boom. I mean, how much contact into that uptrend can you get? Look at that 15-minute chart. Man, that is an insane hold of the trend line, if you ask me. Absolutely insane. Would have been easy money all the ways up. All the ways up. GME testing the highs. Looking at the NQ. You know, still has hope. Kind of looks like GME a little bit. A little bit. Invax 799. Now, if I wanted to, I mean, ah man, it's really trying to break this downtrend. That came off those lows very quick. G-sit holding the trend line. Top gainers. Lumen takes top of the board. We did see that volume that was coming into that early in the day. AI is making a run. I think we're just going to go on the tape at, man, this a lot of good volume coming into that. Those are nice green candles. Is the move over? I don't know. Wicking into 8. So we wicked into 8. Maybe it was only 7.99. The high of the candle was 7.99. So a little bit of hope. There is hope with this play. Not out of the woods yet by any means. Like Carvana, we haven't even really looked back at Carvana. And as expected, it's still trying to hold this battle at 22. So, I mean, we have no interest. And now it's trying to catch a bid. So this is candle number 3, turning green. Wasn't much volume in the back half of this candle. I thought this volume was actually going to close a little bit higher, and it did leave a little bit of wick of buying. So GME, let's go break that 2650. GME, look at that. Ring the register for Kramer. Clap it up for the man. Ring the register. Great trade, man. Great trade. You know, this kind of reminds me of TMC yesterday, where I thought it was potential that it was going to be a descending channel. You know, once I had more clarity that it wasn't going to be this, it never really drops below that, right around the 26 level. Now if it pulled back in, I mean, it's still not too late for me to get back into this. Nice volume that came into it. Ring the register. Well done. Well done. Invax right at 8 flat. Can we get the break that we're looking for? Can we get the break we're looking for? Ask 50 lots on 8 flat. So I would say that's probably somebody that got in on this candle right here. Ask 50. If it can take out that 50, I think this has a chance. CVNA, I'm still okay with the candle it's putting in. FVR, got a 30 over 30 print. We're good. Nothing out of the ordinary. SoFi has just been on a tear. C3AI, you know, I could just take off a piece here, but like I said, I don't have very much size left on that. GME testing through 27s. Through 27s. Kramer, you might be on to something. What was that first trade that you had up? It was TRX? TXR? TRX. Was it TRX? No, it wasn't gold. TXR. No, it wasn't this. If you're still there and you remember that first one you were in, I could just scroll up probably. This Invax is acting like it wants to. God, if we can get this entry before we get a frickin' 22. It just has the setup like it wants to test up towards it. Nice consolidation pattern. Kind of breaking out. Briefly. That was a nice wick hold right there. $28 lots on the bid at 99s. Is this where we take it out? We took out 8s. Took out 8s, I repeat, we took out 8s. Is this going to give us anything? Let's get ready to start trimming this name. AI is absolutely ripping. Let's go just take a piece off. We've had enough of it. That is a beautiful move. Let's take that off. You know what? Let's just take the freaking whole trade off. That is over $10 a share on this run. Over $10 a share on the run. And we are officially out of the AI trade. That was enough. If this pulls back into like 40, we can think about it. Buying those shares back. That is a trade. Very, very happy with myself with that trade. CVNA looks good. Invax. Gosh, it wants to just go just a little bit more. Oh man, I thought when it took out those 50 lots, it was going to be gold and ready to go. $803. Give me over $803. Not wanting to yet. Let's go on the ask on Carvana at 40s. See if we can get this fill right here. $40s in. AI is going to keep ripping. That is fine. We will take $10 a share all day long. We got through 8s again on. Got through 8s. Bid stacking at 8. Bid stacking at 8. We got 15 stacked on 8. 14 stacked on 8. 13 stacked on 01s. 5 minutes and 30 seconds left on this candle. Volume is flat. Been increased volume though. 20 lots on 8. 6 lots on 01. 7 lots on 1. Can it take him out? Was not able to take him out for the time being. And AI. How about that? Not done yet. I shouldn't speak too soon with that name. GME. A little wick right there. Now holding below this wick over here. 27. But a lot of good volume in there. How much red selling volume came in there? You still have the look of a bull flag. Retesting these highs. Healthy looking chart. is a healthy looking chart, in my opinion. Even with the wick on the 15-minute, that's a healthy looking chart. CVNA gave us the fill. Hold on, let's go take another piece off CVNA. We're just going to keep small trims all the ways up. Let's see if we can get over 60s. Oh, man. I should have been ready for that. 60s. Fuck. Or, excuse me. Why are we on a 5-minute chart? Okay, now I don't feel as bad about that CVNA. Yeah, that 15-minute. Oh, yeah. Holy. I thought I was on a freaking 15. Oh, my gosh. I was about to say. I would have been very upset. Oh, now that I'm on a 15-minute chart, beautiful looking candle right here. Like I said, just going to keep respecting small trims on the name. And I see no other way to play it. So there's over 60s. Can we get one as soon as it takes out those 60s? 61s. As soon as it takes out 61s, there's only one lot. Give me one more move higher. Can't do it. We're going to take a piece off right there. Let's see where that fill came in at. Oh, we got 57s. That's too bad. That's too bad. We could have been just a split second better. But that's all right. Let's go back to the INVAX. I think that is the one that we got to keep our eyes on. INVAX. I can't adjust this channel anymore. This is I just don't see a way that this could be the way that this plays out. Maybe though. Maybe. Yep, just maybe. Hold on, I shouldn't say it's out of the woods yet. I just gotta see it get over like 804, and I'll be pretty confident. But it could just wick really quick as it gets over that. Wants to. Go buy the dip on GME. It's 26.20. Let me go take a look at it. Hold on, hold on. I will say that these previous wicks look good, but anytime I see large or multiple, more than 3 candles, I want to try and make this move into 3 candles. So you're gonna see what I do right here. So we go to a 30-minute. And I believe that it's possible this pull is still being made. We have a minute 30 left. If it starts catching a bid, I want this to be a full green candle. And then that's when I'm going to look for the dip by like 26.25 right there. So a minute left on this candle. This next minute on this candle is very crucial. We want this to be as much of a green body as possible. And I'll be looking for a pullback into like 26.10. 26.25. And why do I say that? It also meets in over here. You see this mess of support right there? So you get the flat top break, retest. That's what I'm looking for. So let's go ahead. I'll just respect my words right there, and we'll add an alert right there. If that triggers to the downside, we can come look back at it really quick. So that's what I'm looking at. CVNA. Glad we got that 57 print. We had a 40 print as well, so not looking as bad there. INVAX, still respecting this sort of channel right here. We're going to take a piece off at this 8 just because it has had so much trouble here. So let's take a piece off right there. Now we can breathe freely. Breathe freely. We got a piece taken off there. We're respecting the top end of it. And let's go ahead and stop some underneath like 97s. We'll go 96. No, let's just stay true with it. Oh, my dog. Don't do this to me now. There's 2 seconds left on this candle. You don't have to go outside. And it rejects, gave that up. We just want to see 97s hold. Under 95s, we can stop some out, actually, if we wanted to. Just in case this wants to be a descending channel, we expect 790s to be good support. And the 30-minute has been good to us here. So the pullback down to 95s. That's right. That's got good support there. I can just relax a little bit. Relax. Sometimes you just gotta take a deep breath and tell yourself to relax. Not that there is the most amount of pressure on this, but AI, how about that? We exited the position. Where was the fill on that? I should say that 42.67, 42.67 exit of the position on AI, almost the wick top. And if this pulls back into this flat top, we are buyers at 39 halves. Pull back in. GME, this pull might not be over yet. This 30-minute candle could give you another green candle to the upside. It looks really good for continuation. I just didn't want to pull the trigger. It's nothing against the setup. The setup is beautiful. But I want to get lucky enough to get a pullback into like 26s. Invax, a little wick of buying. The longer this trade sideways. I'm going to let my dog out real quick. I'll be right back. And we're back. I'm a little short-winded. Oh, thank God. I had an alert on GME. Is that what I seen? Hold up. Wait a second. Go back to GME. Oh, okay, this is exactly what I'm kind of looking for. I see nothing wrong with it. And why do I say take a deep breath. Jeez. Frickin' dogs always costing you. Cost you money for food. Cost you money. Take your time. But we are getting a slight wick into this mess of support that we think are going to hold right there. So the cross, I could have just put an order off 25s. This is what I probably would have done. The low, you can see it up here, gets down to 26.27. I would have just barely missed the fill. Now I could have done a market order and also put the order in off 25. So just because it's wicking into it right now, I'm expecting buyers to be in the middle of this green move. And you can see it a little bit better on this 30-minute candle. So if I'm looking at this nice increase in volume, I want to see a couple candles of decreased volume into some sort of level that I can buy. So all sorts of different levels inside of this move that dates even over here. So even like the middle of that body candle, I'm looking for all of this to kind of hold as support in some way, shape, or form. But a nice wick of buying right there. We're going to keep our eyes on that one. Let's go back to INVAX because this is just trading in this wedge right here. Man, what was I was going to go look at something. AI, yes sir, this is what we wanted to see. Come back in. Now you see what made me sell in the middle of that candle is because the volume was showing me decrease right here. Now I wish I could say this was 100% accurate. I'm kind of just blowing smoke. But just the volume increase that it had with no pullback, I wanted this to show me a pull. Now with multiple green candles, you guys know, we like going to a higher time frame. So there's your hour. That was the second green candle. At one point, this was a full green engulfing candle. I'm looking for some sort of pullback off of that look. Nice volume increase, 100%. If we go to a 30-minute chart, you can see increasing volume. Now we're getting decreasing volume. Can we get a pullback into like 40, give or take? 40, half, in the middle of this green move somewhere is what we're looking for. So let's go take a look back at INVAX. Ugh, dogs. Back at this 8 flat. There's not too much more I can do with this chart. I can only pull this so much more. It's giving the look like it wants to break out, whether we get the breakout or not. We've respected this 8 level a few times. We had a reload. We never respected it here. We held it all the ways against us. And it's holding like a glove for the time being. The dark horse is this going to be a potential sideways consolidation all the ways to the trend line? If it can do that and then give me a break, I will feel a lot better. But if it just wants to break out right now, I'm good for that too. CVNA still churning away slowly. You can see we're still early to this break. It's flirting with it. And there's not too much more you can pull this sideways. Call it a 2250 break. False breakout, rejecting it. Can we get the breakout further? GME, we're going to keep that one on watch. Yep, and man, that alert was absolute money. Absolute money. That alert was absolute money. 35, we would have missed the fill. We wouldn't have had much size on it at all. But that's what it kind of takes to get a late entry. So for Kramer's got the entry down here at 2505. I mean, he's in a completely different scenario from me trying to buy it up here. You know, I loved it right here. That it's just part of trading. So like for Kramer, like if he had a fill up at 27, it's a lot easier for him to reload 70, 80 cents lower. So you know, great trade, Kramer. I think this is a strong name. You're holding strength good. There is a little bit of a curl. But if we go to a little bit higher time frame, you can see really good strength on your hour. The hour candles look really good. Even if you had to hold it against you around 26, that could be really good support as well. When it wants to go against you, you have an in off the trend line somewhere. Eventually this trend line, it will not go up forever. Eventually this trend line is going to come in contact with it. So the higher you can hold it, the higher you can trim, and the lower you can reload back in. So pretty good position. Happy for you. I'm glad you kind of put it on the map for me because I wouldn't even be looking at it at all. So every chart can be used as a learning experience, whether you win on the trade, lose on the trade, or you're not even in the trade. I think every opportunity needs to be taken to learn more and become a better trader. $8.01. Can this just give me the breakout? I'm tired of looking at this. Bid stacked on 8, 13 lots, not very much. When is this going to give me the breakout right here? It wants to. Man, if this ends up going against me right here, I'm going to be upset. The go-to trade, given the pullback. CVNA, I like it. It's still just holding. My out is going to be the trend line. Yeah, anytime, Kramer. Anytime you have something I feel I can add to, great trade, man. You can't deny the entry that you had and the outs that you probably had. Very well done. Can I ask you something though, Kramer? On your chart, do you use a VWAP? I'm not going to judge you if the answer is yes. Not going to judge you if the answer is no. Just kind of curious on some of the chart setup, because on my chart I just use 3 simple indicators. I use, for some reason, it's actually set on 20. That could explain something. Normally I want this set on like a 50. So that's a little embarrassing. But you can see from the positive break is kind of a breakout. This is where we're trying to buy some right here. So early entries for a positive break. That's what. Yeah, this makes so much sense that my strength has been acting funny because I had the wrong setup on it. Huh. That changes a lot. 802 on Invax getting a possible break here. There's not too much more I can do with this. How much more can I adjust this? Not much more. I mean, I actually like it better the way that it was. Like that. I think it's breaking out of this channel. There's 102 lots on 2. There's a lot of size that's been building and holding it from breaking out right here. When does that size stop being the case? Does it have to get over 07s? It might have to get over 07s. CVNA holding the levels, a little bit of a stair step action. I would say this should be marked right there, and it's holding those levels. CXAI, I'm gonna look really dumb. It pulled back to one of my first levels though, that flat top. Yes, you do. If you're referring to the VWAP, yeah, it's an interesting concept. I used to have VWAP on my chart, and I got rid of it. I think I got upset that I got out of a trade, and maybe I got out of the trade at a level. Um, there's an interesting thing about VWAP. If we're just gonna be sitting back here watching this Invax maybe breakout, looking into it right now. One of the big things VWAP is actually used for is the companies themselves when they are able to buy back shares or even issue shares. A lot of times it's just a trigger that goes on, and that company says, okay, we're going to buy X amount of shares off VWAP because it's going to trade at VWAP at some point in time. And if it doesn't, then they don't get their shares. But that can be moved points below VWAP. It can be moved points above VWAP. And I just think a lot of times the level is going to hold a lot of dictation whether VWAP is going to give you action or not. So a lot of people don't even like trading around VWAP. They like waiting till it moves one way or the other off of the VWAP test. And a lot of times, I don't know, it's just tough to say. I have nothing against VWAP. I believe it's a useful indicator. It's just some of the experiences I've had with it. I just prefer not having it. It's nothing against it. Yeah, there's not much more I can do with this invex trade. I've already respected this level twice since the reload. Just waiting for a potential breakout. The volume isn't really breaking much higher or lower. CVNA is going to get very close to breaking out right here. CVNA getting another leg up here as we speak. Invax, still nothing. Let's put an alert on Invax. This trend line right here could be something. Could be a wedge pattern building right here. Let's go back to CVNA and let's see if we can get this breakout. It looks like it wants to. It looks like it wants to. CVNA. Let's go on the ask at 75s. Was already on the ask at 75s. Let's go 2270. Let's go back to GME. And yes, just a nice churn. A nice churn. Fubo, nice churn. Would be nice to have some of these entries. We talked about too flat. I'm not in it. Oil still in the middle, chop zone. Really good volume that came into it. Is this going to be something that can hold? I don't know. I'd say you're in a middle ground. Waiting for 75. Waiting for 82. I don't know, something like that. Just in the middle ground. Strength, not quite there. Yeah, that makes so much sense with the strength. That is so upsetting. Yeah, your strength has never gone negative. Oh my gosh, I can't even, I'm having just a moment right now. I'm not sure how long I had this indicator set improperly. And I can't believe that I didn't catch it. That mistake will never happen again. There's a nice trend line hold on Alteria. We have just a mess of indicators going on right here. Let's get all this out of the way. Restart. Got enough of it. Not even putting the downtrend. Can we get over 8? Can we get over 8? Please keep your eyes on AMC these days. Could go for a move. Yeah, we'll take an eye on AMC. Like I said, I just think it's a pretty bullish day. Coming into some lows right here. Breaking out of the channel that we had set. Looking at the daily. Nice curl. Only one test of these lows. It was the start of this gap. It's 450. 405. Yeah, there could be something there. I want to see it fight through these lows though. I'll keep an eye on AMC. It's on the watch. GME, nice move. Trying to get the 27. CVNA, did it give us that 70 print? Let's go find out. I think that actually did give us a fill right there. We got a 2270 filled. 2270 filled on Carvana. Took another piece off. Ring the register. Let's go take a look elsewhere. FVRR. Testing the highs. Intel. Ford. Why do I keep doing that? Not that bad. Not that bad. IBM strong move. Strong move on IBM. Oh my gosh. That was the one. CVNA coming back in. This wants to break out. Needs more volume. 2 million. Not impressive earnings. Invax crossing. Do we just cut out of it? Oh, we can't. We can't. It's coiling. Got a wedge pattern. G-sit. We forgot all about G-sit. Still holding the trend line. Yeah, if there's anything anyone wants to watch, I think we've kind of just covered everything. The DAL, we can maybe take a peek over there. Strong move. We talked about it yesterday. We're looking for 44s. So nothing really over here to respect. For those who are waiting for some airline talk, airlines have been strong. We also got the AL. We trimmed both of these yesterday, so we don't really know if we are ready to cut more of them. But solid moves. Intel gaps up, fills the gap. We're looking for mid 30s. Mid 30s can print. Ford reclaimed 14s. We're on the ask 1422, 1422. Invax still trying to hold the level. Building the flat top. Carvana. Is this going to give us any more movement to the upside? What are the big movers to the downside? Let's see what we can look at. PBR has been strong. Coming back into some levels. Could think about reloads off of the gap. GME right near that 27 flat level. Kind of rolling over on Unity. So probably not going to be looking at that. CVNA still holding sort of that channel look. AI still bull flag look. Invax still just holding. Yeah, other than that, I think we are going to take a break. I'm going to go get some lunch and reload the coffee, and we might have another live stream later if the Invax trade starts working out, or CVNA, or if we get into anything else. Other than that, I think that's probably going to call it for a live stream this morning. And unless you got anything you want me to look at before I leave, we'll leave it at that. Give you a little bit of time. Alright, we will see you later in the day for the next live stream.